There we go. Now can you hear me? Gosh. That turned into a real catastrophe, did it not? Joe H. No need to thumbs down people because they can't get their stuff straight. Everyone makes mistakes once in a while. Doesn't make sense that anyone should thumbs down a video because their audio is not working properly at first. It is working properly now, I do believe. I've had trouble with this since I moved into this house, so I'm just now getting to a point where I can actually do this and not have real issues. That's part of the reason why I have not done a reveal up until now. But I don't have the camera support that I do need. I wish it were better, but yeah, I'm trying to get everything together here. You guys have to be a little bit patient with me. We have a 1963 original mint sealed bag here today, and we're going to be opening that before too long. Now, I had originally sold 100 spots for 2 coins per spot, and that's going to be 200 coins. And we can't go through 200 coins in one broadcast, especially considering this broadcast took me so long to figure out and get right. Hello, Donna Mac, Bill Crusson, Randy, Jeff Dunn, Techstar, Yo-Man, Farm Dog, Wade Reynolds. What I was trying to say, Wade, earlier is that this was supposed to occur on Friday, but I had a whole bunch of problems with a camera that I was trying to use, and it kind of died on me, so I had to order a new camera, and it took a while for the new camera to come in, but I do now have the new camera. No, you do have video, Joe. If you can see anything on the title, you can see the video. You can see original roll revealed. You do have video. It's just because I haven't put anything under the microscope yet because I'm still attempting to get ready. I'm still working on that part. I'm stuffing my flip inserts now because I originally printed my flip inserts on label paper, which was stupid, and then I turned around and had to print them on regular cardstock. This is the first reveal I've done in over 2 months, and I'm just now getting back into the fire of it, trying to figure out what's going on here. And as soon as I can get these done, we'll get started. No, there's no problem. If you can see my hand, you've got video. It's just I don't have anything up on the screen right now. That's all. Maybe we should try not thumbs down things and not complaining and just watch and figure out what happens as it happens. Kind of just ticks me off when somebody goes through a lot of effort and then other people just criticize it. Let's see, let me get this finished. I'm up to number 30 now. I'm working on getting to number 50. We're going to do 100 coins during this broadcast. Those 100 coins that we're going to do during this broadcast are going to come up 2 per holder. So I've got 50 holders that I'm working on here, and then I have to do the other one. I'm going to do the other one. The other half of this is going to be done tomorrow. I cannot. I've been through a lot today, and this has frankly got me all wigged out, and I'm pretty much done for the day. So I want to do this 100 and then be able to do the other 100 tomorrow. I won't be able to concentrate all the way through 200 coins today. And as we go through this, we're going to learn a little bit about dice date on coins. We're going to learn a little bit about the 1963 Lincoln cents, and hopefully we'll find some die varieties in there, maybe some high-grade coins, something. I have no idea what we're going to find simply because, well, these coins have never been opened. I'm going to break the stitches on this bag, and it's going to come straight out as it was sewn in 1963. Now I'm going to show you the stitching as soon as I get finished with these flip inserts. I'm going to show you the stitching so you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, and you'll understand what original stitching looks like. That way, if you ever run into what someone calls a sealed bag, you'll know exactly what you're looking for. Mint sealed bags always say U.S. Mint on them. They always say return to the U.S. Mint. Do not cut the bag. Never, what am I trying to say? There's never an option otherwise for mint seal bags. Mint seal bags always came as mint seal bags from the United States Mint. If you get a bag that has a bank name on it, that means the bank got a hold of the mint sealed coins or other coins and they rewrapped coins themselves or placed them into a bag themselves. Usually bank bags are going to have rolled coins in them. Mint sealed bags are going to be the only ones where the coins will all be loose. Reason for that is the mint dumps them straight into the bags to ship them out to the banks. The banks roll them up, and if they re-put them in a bag, they're going to put them in one of their own bags, and they're going to be rolls. So your chances of getting a mint sealed bag that says Bank of America on it is zero. That's someone who has thrown together a number of coins, and they're trying to talk you into believing that's actually a stitch bag, a mint sealed bag. If your bag has binding twine around the top of it with a lead seal, that is a sealed bag. It could be a Fed Reserve Bank sealed bag, but it is not a mint sealed bag. Mint sealed bags were never sealed with lead seals. Mint sealed bags were always sewn shut. They had a sewing machine that kind of dropped down out of a conduit above them, and they just reached up and grabbed that sewing machine and sewed the bag shut right after it was filled. Nothing fancy about it. Sorry, folks, about the music at the beginning. I did not intend that. That was not supposed to happen that way. I have no idea why it did. It doesn't make any sense because I did not change anything about how the software works between the last reveal and now. Yet things changed about how the software works anyway. Very mysterious. Not really sure how that happened. But we are on 48 now, so I'm almost done. I'm almost ready to pull this bag up to the desk and show you what it looks like. And get those stitches opened up. Thought I was playing a riff? No, unfortunately, I was wildly working very hard trying to find how to get my sound to change over to what it should be. But we've got it all figured out now. All right, so I've got the first 50 holders ready. They're all right here. And so I'm going to put them in the tray so that we can see that they're all ready. A nice, clean, clear camera I've got now. There you go. So what we're going to do, I'm going to move this out of the way. Show the bare desk here for a minute. And grab this bag. All right. This right here, folks, is an original mint seal bag. It says, please do not cut bag when opening. Return to U.S. Mint, Philadelphia. And it says cents, $50. This was first used in 1958. That is a 1958 date, and there's 1962, and those have both been marked out. And in 1963 was put in its place. So these are 1963 Philadelphia cents. This area usually has 1, 2, 3, or 4 dates in it, and sometimes they'll even put more dates over to the side over here. Newer bags, up to 2001, which was the last year they used mint seal bags, they would go right down here and put the date down in this area. So that's what the bag looks like. This is what the stitching looks like that comes on a mint seal bag. It's a serge stitching. You can see it. It's a white rope type material right here. Here's the end of the stitching. And this stitching right here is very typical of mint stitching. This is how they did it. Now, when you're going to cut a mint seal bag, if you do it on the right side, which I'm always going to choose the wrong side because that's just my luck, you should be able to just cut the stitching just like this. Just cut a little piece of the stitching, and it should, if you did it on the right side, you should be able to just grab the stitching and pull on it, and it will come undone just like that. See that? As I pull on it, the stitching's just coming undone. Exactly like a feed sack. So as I come across, you can actually go faster and just zip it off. There it is. There's our stitching. All that stuff right there. All done. Now the bag is open. There's your coins. So that's how a mint seal bag opens. And what I am going to do is move this over so that I'm grabbing out of the bag in front of me and move these guys back into position right here like that. Now what I've taken the liberty of doing is I've got all of the name badges made like this, and I have taken half of those name badges and put them into these holders. And so what we're going to do as we go along, we're going to take a holder, we're going to flip it over. Doug Reese is the first person. Let's do it the other way so that they come out right side up. There we go. There we go. So now we've got number 1 is going to be Doug Reese. Doug Reese will get 2 coins out of the bag for his holder. And this will be the first one, the very first coin that we've seen out of this bag. Let's move it into position and get it focused properly. Move our lighting in. And let me take a look at the coin. Get it nice and sharp. There we go. What we're looking for, especially on 1963 Lincoln cents, is doubling around the date, doubled eyelids, and doubling up here in trust. Sometimes you'll find it there in trust, or we're looking for what we know of as a bar L, which would be a raised bar above or below the L. And yes, this on the 3 is damage. That's damage to the coin, as it was evidently tossed around in the bag. That's right. Make sure you're on live chat so you can see everyone's comments, but you should be able to hear me either way. So there we go. That's the obverse of that one. There's nothing on there to speak about, so we're going to move on and see what happened on the reverse and see if there's anything there to talk about. This is a later die state reverse. I can tell it's later die state because of all the flow lines coming out from the outside edges of the letters and the fact that the letters are a little mushy toward the rim. There we go. Yeah, Joe, it was a little slow getting going because this is the first reveal I've done in 2 months' time. I moved to a different location, set up new internet, new computer, new everything, and I'm working on trying to get everything back in place. And this was kind of a unfortunate test area. And now I'm done testing, and we are into business. And this is what we do. I go through and I sell coins out of unopened material, and we look for goodies in those coins. If those coins turn out to be goodies, those are what you get. I mean, whatever comes out of the bag is what you get, or whatever comes out of the roll, depending on whether it's a roll or a bag we're looking at, is what you get. And there's a little lamination peel right there on the N of United. I'm going to turn that light down just a little bit so we can see better. There's a spot where it peeled up on the N, the lettering. That happens because the planchet has little flecks of metal on them when they go into the press, and there's no one there to dust those little flecks of metal off, and the die actually strikes that metal into the coin, and then as it comes back out, well, it starts to fall out. And so this is what you've got, a little fleck of metal about to fall off the coin that was struck into the coin. I'm not seeing anything else on this one, so that is Doug Reese's 2 coins for this particular part of the reveal. And just like that, we've got Doug Reese's 2 coins in the holder. Let me get these things unstacked. I like for them to be separate from one another, like that. Okay, so that's number 1 done. Let's go on to number 2. I'm going to grab 2 coins out of here, and the first one looks like this right here. Ooh, there's a nice sharp die state coin right there. You see how much sharper the letters on the outside edge look? Very sharp. Nice needle sharp strike there. Hopefully you come up with something, because this would be a really nice one to have a nice die variety on. Oh, I'm sorry. Holder number 2 goes to Sureg. Holder number 2 goes to Sureg. Okay. And I'm not seeing anything of die variety circumstance on this particular side of the coin, so we're going to flip it over and take a look at the reverse. Going to see what happened on the reverse side. And it also is an early die state, so this is a very new pair of dies that they started using to mint coins here. And this would be the perfect coin to find a really nice little double die on, because it would be very easily visible. But unfortunately, I'm not seeing anything on this particular die pair. And this die pair does have a lot of die scratches running across the southern part of the reverse. Let's take a look on the obverse and see if we can find a marker to use to show us that we've seen this die before. And it's pretty simple around the date. There's some north and south die scratches, but there's that one little angled die scratch above the 6 of the date. And see if that makes up for the best of our markers for this particular die. I think it does. So there's an angled one coming down off the 6, and then there's an angled one above the 6 in the opposite direction. So that makes that pretty easy. So that's Sureg's first coin. Here's his second coin. And what do we see here? I'm not getting anywhere with this particular one yet. It is a different die because it does have just a little bit of flaking going toward the outside edge. You can see those little lines going toward the outside edge of the 3. That means this is a mid-die state coin. You see the little feathering on the top of the letters there? Now I'm going to put this other coin in here, and we're going to show, there's this, and then I come over to this. See how much sharper that is? And this has become not quite so sharp, and you can see all those flow lines of luster. And then here you don't have all those lines. You basically just got scratches here. This is early die state, and this is mid die state. Early die state comprises about 1 to 2% of all the coins minted by a die pair as a full life die pair. And mid die state is another 15 to 20%. Once you get to late die state, your lettering and things are going to start mushing down to a point where they look kind of weird through a microscope. This is a late die state reverse here. You can see that they're really mushy. You can still see outer edges of these letters, but you can see how the letters really run toward the rim. That's just out of die use. That's exactly what it is. A lot of die use. And yes, you can have different die states on the obverse and reverse because they are 2 different dies. So these dies were probably hung at different times on the press to make coins. All right, there we go with that. I'm going to move on to number 3. Number 3 is going to go to Tim Crowell. And EDS is a lot nicer when it comes to looking for die varieties because they're going to be really sharp and really easy to determine what they are. Okay, that's another earlier die states, early to mid die state. Early mid die state is what I would call this. It does have a little bit of feathering, but not much. And this is early mid die state. Now these are different from stages. And the way they're different from stages is that a die state specifically and only determines for you the age of the die in number of strikes. Whereas a stage is when new markers develop onto a die which transfers over to the coin, you create a new marker, or you create a new stage for it. And some dies have 3, 4, 5 stages, and others have up to 15, 20 stages. And that's just based on how much detail was put into the knowledge of, like, when these die scratches came onto the die. They came onto the die in early mid-die state because, well, we have an early mid-die state reverse here. And by the time you get to late die state, these scratches may be invisible. They may have completely worn off of the die. So there's your main difference between die state and stage. This would probably be a stage A or a stage B for this reverse because it is a very early die. You can tell that by the lack of marks going toward the rim from the lettering. It's a lot to learn and know. Now let's take a look at the second one here. See what we got. And this one has different die scratches on it altogether, and it is an early mid-die state coin, or early mid-die state obverse. This one also appears that it could be a minor class 6 double die. Let me keep looking. And I'm not really seeing anything. At first, it looked like it could have been a really minor class 6 double die, but as it turns out, I don't think that's what this is. All right, well, let's take a look at the reverse and see what we get. I'm really hoping for some double dies here because double dies are not all that uncommon with 1963. There are a number of them listed. I'm looking at the lettering upside down because that shows the lettering best, the shadowing. See, if you do it like this, everything is in shadow on the bottom of the NT, and you wouldn't be able to see any notching or any extra little things that show up as a double die. But if I flip it over this way, you can see all that in the light. It makes it really easy to tell whether or not you have notching. Now, notching in and of itself can generally tell you that it is a double die. Now, sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time it will. Now, what does it mean, notching? Well, I will make an attempt to find a coin that will show you what notching is. Hang on just a second. Let me grab a coin here. Okay, this came out of a tube. This is it's a 1964D, which is a different coin altogether. Didn't come out of this bag. But if we look here, I'll show you what notching is. If this is strong enough to show notching. Okay, right up there on the top of the F, in the word of, you see a little dark line headed right to the corner of the letter? That shows us that we have an overlap, an F over an F. It looks like it's a shift slightly south, but you can see that there's two tops. Two tops to the F. And if we scoot on around here, you see how the initials are just a little bit doubled. Twist this on around. This probably isn't a very good example. It's just one that I happen to have available to me. But if you look carefully, let's see, you can see how the tops of these letters just stand out a little bit more than they should. You can see it starting right there with the E, and then there the F has the O and the F have doubling on the top of them, and then the A and the M. You can see it there in the center of the M as well as the top of the M, and then the ER and the I have a little bit of it. I'm going to zoom in here on the F. Haven't missed anything yet, Shannon. We're kind of just getting started, but let me bring it into super zoom mode here, and we'll take a look at this and get a little bit better light on it here. Now you can see the top of that F really well, and you can see that there's actually two Fs, one overlapped right over the other. And that's what notching is. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for notching on the reverses of these coins. We're also looking for the possibility of a bar L. A bar L is going to be a double die that will show up as, let's see, I've got another 62 double die here. Let me see if this is any better to show you what doubling is. Sometimes these don't show up really well in this lighting, so I have to try a different die. Let me zoom this out real quick. Well, or maybe not. I'll just do it this way. See, I'm not sure where the doubling is on this, so it's going to be hard for me to find it and show it to you. I'll have to zoom out first. I'll see just how visible it is. And looking, not finding. You can see it on the initials slightly. See if I can find it anywhere else. Okay, I can see it there on the top of the E, on the top of the M, but this one's actually not quite as strong as the other one was. But that should give you an idea of what that doubling looks like. And hopefully we'll find it on some of the coins that we get out of this bag. So let's try. Holder number 4 will be for Bulldog. I got 2 coins sitting out here, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at them now and see what we ended up with. Okay. This is an earlier die state. It's nice that we're getting some earlier die state stuff out of here. That means that there is probably a good chance that this was a beginning of day bag where they had just put new dies on the press and getting ready to start minting coins for the day. So if we have any double dies, there's at least some decent chance that they'll be earlier die state, easier to see. We have yet to find anything though, unfortunately. Still working on it. Where have I been all day? Oh, Shannon. Where has he been all day? I should stay out of your conversations. And of course, as everyone knows who has been around me a while, they'll know that once I get finished with this reveal, I go back and I take a look at the coins again to make sure I didn't miss anything, because this particular scope with this particular lighting does not give me quite the result that I would be looking for in a microscope. So I use my own microscope to take a better look and see exactly what is on the coin and make a better determination that way. Look for anything I can find as far as the double die is concerned. It looks like we're probably going to get skunked, unfortunately. Oh, wait a minute. What's that? No, nothing. I don't like getting skunked on these rolls, especially when it's a bag. A bag is 100 rolls. Let's see what I've got going on here. Not a double die, unfortunately. Thought I might be finding something, and well, I'm not. Finding a lot of nice early die state coins, though. Nice early die state coins. All right. That will be Bulldogs. Now for Jim Fletcher. Grab 2 coins out of the bag and see what we get. Here's the first one. Slightly later die state, very slightly. And look around and see what we end up with here. Nope, not there. Hey, Brando Show. Let's take a look at the other side here. And there's a nice little lamination crack. Lamination peel, actually. There's lamination over the entire E, and some of it's starting to peel off. So that's kind of cool. You like those rolls? I got more where those came from, you know that. We just got to keep on keeping on, right? Okay, that one doesn't have anything on it other than that nice little lamination peel. Let's try this one, see if there's anything here. This is our second of 2 coins for Jim Fletcher. It's pull number 7, so this is our 14th coin. That is not hub doubling there, that's machine doubling at the top. And check his eye real quick. Nope, nothing on the eye. Let's take a look at the other side. This one's a late die state here. Kind of mushy. But we can still find double dies on late die state. It's just a little more difficult to detect them. Got nothing there. I believe so, Bill. I think I do know which ones you're talking about. So I'll put these 2 coins in the holder for Jim Fletcher. And there we go. Moving on to number 6. It's going to be Wade. Wade's here, isn't he? I think Wade's here. Hello, Carrie. I haven't seen you in here yet today. You've probably been in here. I just haven't noticed you. I'm noticing you now. Let's see. Looks like we may have... Yeah, get an earlier die state coin here, so I like to check these carefully, because you can find some good minor stuff on them. Ooh. Well, I think this little guy right here is going to turn out to be a minor double die right there on the T. Looks like a T over T. Minor. See what we have in Liberty. Shantanu, no, this would be... I'm not really sure what class. Class 2 doesn't work, though. This would be probably a Class 3 design hub doubling. If it is anything. I'll have to look at it with my other scope to be sure. So I'm going to set this one off to the side as a possible. Let me go ahead and get Wade's second coin out. Take a look at that. See what we have there. There's the second coin for Wade. Wow, some of these got beat up in the bag. The bag's been tossed around for 57 years. It's a later die state coin there. Let's see. Yeah, later die state on the reverse as well. And no hub doubling that I can see so far. Nothing. Nothing on this particular coin. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Wade's coins in the holder, but I'm going to turn the one upside down so I know to look at it again, and put his aside. That way I'll have a good idea that I need to look at that coin again to see, one way or the other, what it is. Sissy Atwell comes next. Hope she's doing well. And here we go. So I got a pretty normal coin from the date standpoint. Let me take a look at the rest of it and see what happened. Yeah, see, on this T you don't have the same doubled appearance that we had on that last coin. So it could actually be a double die. I'll have to take a better, closer look at it later. And we have nothing on Liberty. Nothing on the eye. Let me go ahead and flip it over. Take a look at the other side. Still haven't run out of hope that there could be double dies in this bag. A bag can have 15 to 20 different die pairs, depending on exactly when that bag came into the process and how it was placed. That's because there's a number of different die pairs working at any one time at the mint. And all the coins go into a large hopper to be counted into the bags. And, well, they can take 2 or 3 different days of production and be counting them together, meaning that you could have a number of different die pairs involved in the count. Let's see. Okay, I've got nothing on the L on this one. And nothing on the I. That's part of the outer edge of the design. So the 3 and other parts of the closer to the outer edge where there's a better chance of them getting hit. They can take quite a beating in the bags, unfortunately. One of the detriments to opening a bag is that you're not likely to get really high-grade coins because they've been banging up against each other for all these years. But one of the positives that you could get is that you could find something really, really nice because the bag has never been opened. Nobody's been into it, so nobody knows what's in it until we get it cut open. Did you graduate in '63, Techstar? Looking to see if I can find anything here on the date. Not seeing anything. Now this particular one is a later dice date. You can tell that because of all of the feathering that you see on the outer parts of the lettering toward the rim. That's just where that die flows. The molecules on the surface of the die flow outward, kind of like rain on a windshield as you're driving down the highway. Those molecules are traveling outward. That's what makes these little streaks on here that we call luster. All of those little light streaks on there, that's all little tiny canyons in the coin. And the light's bouncing off one side of those little canyons, and that creates the luster that we see dancing on the surface of later dice date coins. See this? As I turn the coin, you can see the light move. That's because these are little canyons, little tiny trenches dug into the coin by the die, which had movement of the molecules of steel on the surface of the die cause those little trenches. They transfer over to the coins, and that's what we call luster. Well, hello, Hector. How are you doing, buddy? Haven't been around because of work? Yeah, there's a lot of people haven't been around because of work. A lot of people getting busy these days. I completely understand that. I welcome you to come back anytime. Come back to the auctions, get involved in the auctions, come back to the reveals and the reveal sales, and get yourself a few coins and see what happens. We never know. This one's a nice early dice date here. And does not have what I was seeing on that one coin as possible doubling. And as I continue moving around, I'm looking for any doubling on any of the letters. Not seeing anything. I take a look at the other side, see what happened there. Start pretty much anywhere. Go around the surface, looking for any of the earmarks of doubling that my eyes have become trained to look for. Unfortunately, seeing nothing on this coin. So let me move over to the other one. Later dice date on this one, you can see that ghost shadowing toward the outside edge of the 3. It tells you you have a lot of flow on the die. It's also evidenced by the little trails that you can see headed outward from the outside edge of the lettering. Again, this was struck kind of late in the process for this particular die. Now, generally a die pair has a total lifetime of less than 3 days. So the idea that if you get all the coins in January, that means that they're early strikes, and if you get them in December, they're going to be late strikes, that's not the way this works. New dies begin their life on the mint presses almost every day. So there's a decent chance that any bag or any roll that you get could have relatively new dies on them. The thing is, because the dies wear out so quickly, and because the percentage of late die state coins is so much higher than the percentage of early die state coins, it's just sheerly by population. No, I did that wrong. I put those in Carrie's holder. Those belong to Chuck Nickel. Carrie is next. I don't know why I did that. There we go. Carrie Walton's going to be next. Coin holder number 10. I'm going to get a couple of coins in there for her. There we go. Now, Carrie Walton. Coin number 10. Or actually, it's going to be coin number 20 and 21. Sometimes, Randy, the OBW rolls will fit in a nickel tube. In fact, probably about half of them, I would say. The other half are going to fit too tightly. They're going to go in very tightly. Hey, looky there. We have a doubled eyelid. Yep. Definitely double. In fact, that's a tripled eyelid, as it appears. That's going to be a nice one. Take a nice close look at it. Yeah, there's an eyelid above and below the primary. See if I can get a better look at them. I definitely saw them. You know, you can see them at this angle. It's just not really pretty. But you can see the one above the eye and one below the eye. We're at a upside down, looking down at the eye now. You've got the one up above and one down below. So let's take a better look at it, see if I can get, what is that? Oh, that's its forehead. Here we go. See if I can stir that light up a little bit and get us a little bit brighter. There you can see it. One above and one below. So that's a tripled eyelid right there. That's a very nice one. I'll zoom back out. The coin has just a little bit of an issue, but you can see right there. You can see the tripled eyelid. You've got one above and one below. Yeah, Eric, I don't think I've ever seen one like this listed. This would have to be probably a new one. Hello, Kelly Ray. Yeah, I'm not. And Jeff Dunn. There's Jeff Dunn. So Carrie got herself a really nice one here. This one's probably going to be a new listing. Yeah, pretty visible when you turn it this way. It really does look like 3 eyelids right there. All right, so let's take a look around the rest of it and see if there's anything else on this. Unfortunately, this particular coin's got some pretty big digs in it. It doesn't look like it was treated very nicely going into the bag, but we do have 2 extra eyelids on this one. Let's flip it over and take a look at the other side, see if we have anything to talk about over here. Okay, now some of you might be seeing what looks like doubling on the tops of these letters. I assure you that that is a reflection. That is a reflection from the rim. If I flip it around this way, it'll disappear completely. Turn it on around here and you can see that reflection again. What's up, Wild Bill? Wild Bill in the house. Okay. So we've got nothing additional on that coin. Let's take a look at the next one in the bag and see what happened there. Another 1963. Of course. No doubling around the eye on this one. Looks like no doubling at the date. Okay. Got nothing there. Let's take a look at the other side. So now we're on the hunt for a tripled eyelid. See if we can find more of those. There's that, and there's the opportunity of possibly finding other double dies in here. I did have, this is interesting. Once in a while in these sealed bags you pull out little flecks of metal. Let me see if I can pick this up. No, not really. It shines in the bag and I can see it on the bag, but I can't really pick it up because it's too small. Here's a little fleck of metal right there. That's not. This is. Kind of interesting. Anyhow, let me grab Carrie's flip insert. I'm going to put her better coin, or the one with the tripled eyelid, upside down in the holder so I will know which coin is which. And I will set it aside. Take a good look at it later. Perhaps get it listed. And now, Dynamac. Dynamac comes up. Let's see what we've got for Dynamac. Let me get this camera straightened out again. There we go. Let's see what we have here. Not another one of the tripled eyelids. It is a mid to late die state coin. Or die, anyway. Okay, nothing on that obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse and see if there's anything there. I'm going to have to get up and go close the door here soon. My wife left the door open. I had it closed, and she came up and tried to put the dog in the room. Dog didn't want to come in here. And so both of them left. But she didn't close the door. All right, let's try the other coin that I've pulled out here for Dynamac and see what we get. Later die state. This one's actually a late die state obverse here. A lot of flow lines, a lot of meshing toward the rim. Let's flip it over and take a look at the other side. And the other side is late die state as well. And it doesn't look like we have anything on this side. Difference in the business strike and proof dies for 1963. Yes, the 63 proof is a different design basically. It is much sharper than the business strike dies. The lettering is very sharp and the fields are specially treated so that they come out with a very high sheen. I had some proofs up here. Might be able to pull a proof out and let you see. Having trouble finding. Hang on just a second. Let me see if I can find a proof. No, I don't have any proofs available right now. Not real close where I can easily get to them, but they do look very different from the business strike. All right, two more coins grabbed out of the bag for Techstar. Let's take a look at Techstar's first coin right here. And nothing on the eye. And nothing as we go around the outer surface of the design. Let's take a look at the other side. See what we come up with on the other side. Nothing there. So, unfortunately, Techstar is going to get two normal coins to put in his collection. Get these these things inside the holder real quick. Stick it here with everyone else. So that's Techstars. Now, number 13 is going to be James Eubanks. I wonder if James is around this evening. Oh, he is. There he is. Hello, James. Let's see what I've got for you. Well, looks like a later die state. It's going to be a little hard to determine much of anything from this. You can see how everything mushes toward the rim. Got nothing on the obverse there. Let's take a look at the reverse. See what we run upon. Another late die state. Late die state obverse and reverse. And your other coin is this one right here. You know, this one looks a little promising because it's an earlier die state. Let's take a look and see what we can see on it. Nothing on the eye. Looks like nothing in trust. And Liberty appears to be normal. Let's take a look at the other side and see what happened there. Well, it is an earlier die state, but it does not have... Oh wait, I may be speaking too soon. Is that a... No, that's a reflection. They get confusing sometimes, but when you tilt them sideways, you can see that the reflection kind of goes away. And so you can see it there on the E, and then when you tilt it this way, it just kind of goes away because that's beveled, and you're tilting it so that the rim is not pointed straight at the light. And when the rim is not pointed straight at the light, then you lose that reflection. You can see above the TED there, you can see there's light spots right at the edge of the rim. It's just those parts of brilliant metal reflecting off one another. And they kind of turn a little confusing sometimes. Okay, so that for James Eubanks unfortunately is 2 normal coins. I haven't seen any high-grade coins come out of this yet, but that's not generally expected from a bag. Bags can be a little bit tossed around, you know. Now, Bill Crusson. Mr. Crusson, I got 2 coins pulled out for you now. Let's see, one of them has quite a bit of luster. That would be this one right here. Earlier die state's got some die scratches in it that produced some luster, this right here. So if you look at it this way, the field is lit, and you turn it this way, and the lighting suddenly moves on the field. Well, that's actually visible when you look at it in hand. Unfortunately, some spots on this coin. It's got spots. I don't like spots. Let's see if it's got the eye. It does not have the eye. Let's see. The erratic pragmatic. Paying attention, Ken Peavy, God rest his soul, and been looking for another grand teacher. I hope I can fill those shoes. You would be the judge of that. I do reveals where I open source material and go through source material for die varieties and high-grade coins. And I do that pretty much every week. I've had to slow down doing it because the process of completing the task of going through the coins is much more involving for time than the initial process of looking. This right here will show you that. This is the box of reveal coins that I'm trying to make it through. I have to go through and I have to identify every single coin. I have to get what die number it is. I have to create die numbers where die numbers didn't already exist. And I'm going through and identifying every single one of these coins. And then when I'm finished with the process, I'll go back through and I'll make flip inserts for them and change these numbered flip inserts out for ones that actually show the date and mint mark and the die number of the coin. I have about 275 coins to make it through in this particular part of the process. So now we're up to number 15, Fox Run Forge. Fox Run Forge will get this coin. This one is a relatively nice 1963 Lincoln Cent. And do we have the eye? We don't have the eye. I would hate to not be able to reproduce a nice die. Get only one example. That doesn't generally happen in bags, but it can. What do you mean, Bill? There's James. Techstar. See. No, Bill. Right here. 2 coins. Right here. Did 2 of them. Can't remember why I'm holding it. I shouldn't be holding it, because I didn't find anything special. Alright. Finish up a Fox Runs coin here. Now, if you're talking about you bought 3 spots and I only did 1 of them, that's because they're jumbled. They're mixed. You could get 2 in a row. You could get 1 in this show. You could get 2 in the next show. They're just jumbled up. All right, nothing on that side. Let's take a look at the other side and see what happened on there. Okay. I'm seeing a nicer earlier die state, but I don't see any doubling on this one. And nothing there. Let's take a look at the other coin. Let's see what the other coin shows us. And once again, we don't have the eyes. No eyes and no doubling on this side. Let's take a look and see what happened on the reverse. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think I may have found something. Let's see. No, it was just the way I flipped it. I thought I found a rotated reverse, but I did not. No. It's a nice looking reverse. The design is nice and crisp, but there's no hub doubling on here. Yeah, Jessica runs her auction on Sunday evenings. I do mine on Tuesday evenings, so make sure you show up tomorrow. We'll have an auction tomorrow. Got a number of good coins to offer, beginning at cheap prices. No, they're not coins sent in by the audience. We go through original source material. Basically, I sell the spots that these people purchased during the auction last Tuesday. And then during the week, we get out the original material, which in this case, it's a mint sealed bag, open it up, and they receive the coins that they purchased during the auction. So you have to be in one of the auctions to purchase the spots in these rolls and bags that I open. And then come time to open the rolls and bags, we go through and find what we find. And this time it happens to be mostly normal coins, but we have, as the people here will attest, we have found a large number of die varieties through the years of doing this. We're on show number 196 right now. Lots of different die varieties. We're just looking for more, right? Okay. Let's take a look at the reverse. There is a lot to learn in this field of knowledge. I'm still learning stuff just about every day. As I learn stuff, I tend to write it down. As I write things down, I make notes. When I make notes, that eventually becomes fodder for a book. Now, I've got a lot of notes right now. So I pulled 2 coins out for Mike Birchman. Well, hello, Silver Surfer. I haven't seen you around in a while. Let's see here. Guys, don't forget I do have an auction every Tuesday. I've got a large group of coins coming back from NGC pretty soon. Once those come back, I'll start running those for auction. I have a lot of rolls. I have a lot of new rolls coming in. I also do run a lot of better grade earlier coins for your albums. We generally have a lot of fun doing it. Just a good time had by all. Oh, he's got a slash next to his eye. Got nothing here. So I'm going to flip it over and take a look at the reverse. Paul wants a first edition, first signed copy, wet ink book. Yeah, I wish I had the time to do another book. I may eventually, but right now I don't. I'm still trying to get settled into my, I guess my vibe of working these coins, doing the shows and things that I do, and trying to get everything done inside of a 12 to 14 hour day. I haven't worked an 8-hour day in years. My days always turn into much longer than 8 hours. But I enjoy doing it. 1943 roll reveals coming up. I don't have any 43 rolls right now to do a reveal on. It's going to be Adam Chambers here. But I may buy a 43 roll next week. You never know. Hey, here we go. This one is a doubled eyelid, but it doesn't appear to be the triple. That's different. It's definitely got the doubled eyelid. You can see the extra eye right there underneath the primary eyelid. A little bit shaky to see it right there, but it is there, but I don't have that triple. In fact, this is a different die state, so this is a different die altogether, I do believe. Let me pull Carrie's coin back out. Take a look at Carrie's coin again, just because I'm curious. Okay, there's the eye on this one. Let's turn it and look at Carrie's. Right there. Yeah, this does have the 2 eyelids. Hang on. I gotta zoom out because I can't do this up that close. This is Carrie's coin. You can definitely see the 2 eyelids. Okay, so there's a big die scratch coming straight out of the nose. We'll use that as a marker. Now we'll come over here and look at this one. Yep, die scratch is missing. So we have 2 different dies here. We got one that's the double eyelid and one that's the triple eyelid. So we'll put Carrie's coin back in the holder so we don't get it confused. That's going to be Carrie Walton's there. Forever and ever, amen. I'll put her holder back over. And this one belongs to Adam Chambers. And so this is a doubled eyelid for Adam Chambers with a die scratch popping out of the nose. Don't forget that, because I may have to ask you that. Hey, I've seen this. That means I've passed by another one. Well, that's why I look at these twice. I've seen this marker. I've seen these die scratches. Very heavy die scratches, east and west on the upper reverse. Let's go back and take a look at the coin on the obverse again one more time. Okay, so we have a heavy diagonal pair of die scratches below the 9. And we have a pretty well hubbed doubled eyelid. So that's definitely a minor double die right there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other coin. See what Adam's other coin shows us, not a doubled eyelid. So we'll take a slower look around everything. Is that what I think it might be? No. Okay. Sometimes I have to take a good extra shot look at something just to be sure I've got what I've got or don't got what I don't got. It's never an instant process. It's just not that fast. Using a scope like this, I end up having to look a little extra hard to try to find things. Using my regular microscope, it works much quicker, much easier. Let me see if I can make this thing work. Let me try something here. Stand by for just a minute. We're going to see if we can do something here. I'm going to make a shot. Never know if it's going to work, but we can't know until we try. Correct? I am going to do this. Bring up my microscope. Bring up my camera. And let's see. Why isn't this working? Oh, this is why. I'd pull the plunger on the camera. Okay. Now let me stick this under here real quick. And do this. Focus it. I'm thinking you guys are going to really like this if I can get it to work. So let me try this. Let's see here. We're not going to be able to see the other half of the screen over there, but at least we'll be able to see this. There we go. This is under my regular microscope. This way, I can do this. And get really close. We can see what we really want to see. How's that? You guys like this? We might try this. It's a little bit rough in moving around, but it's probably about the best I'm going to be able to get this. And we can do this too. We can zoom way out to about here. Get it focused in real well. And then just use it like this. Let me get my exposure set up. Hang on just a second. That'll work for that. Let's see if I can change. I can't change my live any more than I already have. Let's see if this helps any. Not much. Well, at least we can see the scratches and stuff, and we can see any doubling that's on there. I'll try to move everything a little bit faster so it just kind of zips into place. Let's take a look at this coin and see what we can get out of this one. See, there's our two diagonal slashes right there. Can we see the doubled eyelid? We can. We can see the doubled eyelid that's on there. Oops. Hey, hang on a second. There we go. Get the lighting a little closer. And zoom in a little bit. There's our double eyelid. You could see it better with the other camera. Hey, Jess. What did you mean, yo man, when you said you could see it better before with the other camera? Coin number 3, Tim C. His had those die scratches on the reverse, so it should have a doubled eyelid. Okay, we'll go back and check. We'll go back and take a look for it. But you should be able to pretty easily see the doubled eyelid here. As I move around, you can see all the little die scratches, all the little things. Much better camera. I actually see everything now. And as I zoom out, I'm going to zoom out to about right there. Refocus. There we go. Okay, so this one, I'm going to go ahead and put it in a holder for Adam Chambers. This one's going to go in upside down so I can be sure that I know that this is the doubled eyelid, and then I'm going to put the other coin in there with it. And we are going to go back to holder number 3 for Tim. And we're going to take his coins out. We're going to find the one that has the die scratches on the reverse so that we can check the obverse again. Is it this one? It is. So let's flip it over. Take a look at the obverse again and see if we come up with a doubled eyelid that I had missed before. So I'm looking over a 4-leaf clover that I've looked over before. Does it have a doubled eyelid? Yes, it does. There we go. Nice going, Randy. Very nice, Randy. Very, very nice. Good going on you. This is the same die as the one that we just found. So I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to flip it upside down in Tim's holder. Oop, that's right side up. I want upside down. Here we go. There we go. Right. And put the other coin back in there. And I'm going to move number 3 over to the good stuff pile. And we're going to do number 19. Number 19 is going to go to John. Grab him a couple of coins out of the bag. These two look good. Let me try this one first. Nothing that I can right off see on the obverse. Nothing on the obverse. Let me flip it over. See what we can find on the reverse. This is going to show us a better look at the coin. We're going to see more of it right away, and we're going to see better detail. And I can also zoom in on this and get really good detail. I just have to figure out a better way. Actually, what I can do with this is I can take this hang on a second, folks. Just a little bit of playing around here, trying to get this right. Nope. Nope, I'm not going to be able to do that. I have to figure something else out to get this to work together, because it doesn't want to work together. That's okay. We can just keep doing it this way. I see nothing on the reverse of this. Yeah, this is 18 megapixel. It's more than 5 megapixel. This is 18. It's an 18 megapixel camera, and it's physically hooked up to my microscope so that I can zoom in this much, And if I focus it well, everything's manual with this. There's nothing automatic about it. But I can zoom in that much. Hello, Mr. Lincoln. All right, let me zoom back out so we can actually see what we're doing. And everything I do has to be focused manually. That's the only really hard part of this. Get everything focused just right. Okay, so this coin had nothing. Let's take a look at this one. See if this one was any better. Oof. Oofta. We got some spider veining on this. This is due to a planchet wash issue. Back when they were making these coins, they were using a planchet wash that tended to create spotting issues on the coins if they were left stored for a long time. Of course, back during that period of time, the mint didn't really care what the quality of the coins were other than the fact that they were minted well and had a good design on them that would last a long time. Because, of course, to the mint, coins are just a utilitarian used item that doesn't necessarily have to have any attractiveness for collectability. That's what mint sets and proof sets were for. They were for collectors. These were just meant to be spent. Okay. So we're doing a little bit better as far as this part of it's concerned. I'm going to have to figure out a way to get my other camera to really show up well. This is John L's second coin. So we've got John L for 2 coins. And you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm placing these in John L's holder. And then we are going to work on holder number 20. Holder number 20 is for Mike Birchman again. So Mike Birchman got number 18, then number 20. And I got 2 coins out for him. Let's take a look at the first one and see what happened with this one. Decent 1963 Lincoln cent there. It's a little bit better for spottiness, but it doesn't appear to have any hub doubling on it. That does happen on occasion as I get a real bright flash in my scope because, well, the exposure is constantly working. Let me see if I can get it to do... let's see. Let's try it this way. See if maybe this works better. It won't change around so much. Yeah, that should do. It needs to be a little brighter. What do you think? Maybe just a little bit brighter? No. Turn it down to here. Turn the gain up a little bit. There we go. Now it's not going to blink or flash or anything at us. And we've got it bright enough that we can actually see everything. Yeah, now, what you guys need to understand with this is that this is actually hooked up to a physical microscope. It's a dual stereo-optical microscope with infinite zoom. Has a 15 megapixel. It's a trinocular microscope with a 15 megapixel camera or 18 megapixel camera hooked up to the top of it. So we're not using a digital scope here. This isn't an autofocus issue. There's no way you can autofocus a microscope like this. It is what it is. But it's got really good detail. If I can ever get it focused just right. There we go. That's pretty close. Wow, we played around with this for a long time. But heck, it works. I like it. You can see all the little tiny die scratches on there. Very nice. And if I want to, I can take a picture of it. I could send you a picture of these coins. Okay, that one had nothing on it. Let's take a look at this one. See what's going on here. We have no doubled eyelid. Now, the staining that you see on this coin is not quite as bad as it would appear under the microscope, because that microscope is going to magnify those spots and make them look a lot worse than they actually are. So these coins aren't quite as bad as the way they look under the scope. Just let you know that. They are kind of spotty though. They did come out just a little spotty. Alright, let's take a look at the reverse on this one. Got nothing on the reverse. Looking at a coin through a flip with the scope, it doesn't work very well. And that's primarily because of the lighting reflecting off the plastic on the flip. I'll show you here in a second. So here's what we just looked at. I guess it kind of works, but you get a little bit of a milky look to it where the plastic is. That's caused by the reflection off the plastic, but I guess we could look at them this way. Not too bad. All right, holder 21 goes to Bill Crusson. So Bill Crusson's up again. All right, so now I have 2 more coins for Bill Crusson pulled out here. Let's take a look at the first one and see what it is. Okay, slightly later dice date. You can see all the flow lines headed toward the rim. That's something that wasn't very obvious under that other camera. It was a little difficult to see under the other camera, but this one makes it very obvious that you have flow lines headed toward the rim. So this is a slightly later dice date. You can see that by all that fuzzy on the outside edge of the devices. Devices being letters and numbers. That's what they call them. That's the official name for the letters and numbers on your coins. They're called devices, design devices. Oh, sorry, I moved my light. There's that side, got nothing there. Let's take a look at the other side and see what happened there. I like looking up the upper side of the letters, the side that faces the rim, because that's where you're going to see the best doubling. Doubling kind of happens sort of like if you take a spirograph, or not a spirograph. You remember those things? I mean, if you're as old as I am, you probably remember them. They're those turntables that turn around and you put a piece of paper on it and then you splatter paint on it. And the paint goes out in all kinds of directions and makes a nice little work of art. I don't remember what those are called. But I don't remember if I've already looked at this coin. So I'm going to look at it again, just in case. Spin art. That's right, spin art. So, kind of like spin art, when you drop paint in the center of your spinning paper, how it wants to splatter out toward the edges. That's exactly what happens with the molecules of steel on a die as it mints coins. Those molecules like to move outward toward the edge of the design. And that's why you see all these little lines that run toward the edge of the design. All those little lines right there were caused by molecules of steel moving outward on the design, on the die. And what that does is it causes luster. We've already discussed that, but I just wanted to do that for the people who might have just shown up. Now these lines like this, that move side to side like this between the E and the N, or all the little lines there up next to the E, and you can see them up here in the field, those are scratches on the die. And those scratches are caused... no, I didn't mention the scope's name. It's an AM scope. I don't know what the exact model is, but it is an AM scope. But those little lines there are caused when they scratch up the die when they're trying to remove damage from the die. And these little lines get struck into every coin made by that die. So this is kind of the fingerprint of the die. So that die strikes this coin. The next coin it strikes, it's going to have those same scratches on it. So you can compare 2 coins together to make sure that they came from the same die, and that's how. All right, so that's Bill Cruston's 2 coins. They turn out to be normal coins. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the holder and move on to the next person. We're an hour and a half on this show so far, but we've had a couple of little issues that we had to figure out. Steve A comes up next. Steve A will get coin number holder number 22. Holder number 22 goes with Steve A. And there's no doubling in or around or on the face, so we're going to move on around the design of the coin and see if we see anything doubled. Got nothing there. Let's take a look at the reverse. Start pretty much anywhere and just go around the outside edge, turning the coin. There's another little flake of metal peeling up. You can see it, especially if I turn it in a different direction, you'll be able to see it pretty well. Right there, there's a little flake of metal on the coin between the O and the N at the rim. There's not really any value attached to those unless they're quite large. But they are interesting nonetheless. Yes, Kelly Ray, that is what has the coin. It creates luster on the coin. Luster is that dancing ray of light that goes around the coin as you tilt the coin back and forth. Try to keep my finger out of the way. Learning my new tool. This is what I generally see when I'm looking at coins under the microscope. That's why you can tell there's quite obvious difference. Quite obvious difference between this camera view and what you were seeing earlier in the broadcast using the Dynalite. The Dynalite's a good camera. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that it doesn't quite get into the detail that I'm really looking for. Let's see what that is. Turn the light just a little bit here. Okay, nothing. Keep looking, keep looking. And I got nothing on this one either. What? Son of a silver stacker showed up. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Alright, Steve A's coins. Did I look at this one? Now I'm having a little bit of trouble figuring out whether I've seen a coin or not. Okay, we've seen this one. Go ahead and put both of these in Steve A's holder. And almost halfway done with the show. What do you know? And number 23 goes to Eric Beyer. Grab a couple of coins out of the bag for Eric Beyer. And see what we see. Here's the first one I picked out. I'd turn the light up just a little bit. This is better. This is bright enough. So I got my light shining at 80 watts right now. Taking a look at the reverse. How you doing, Paul Hampton? You getting along? Fall asleep or did you quit watching? You haven't said anything. Just making sure I didn't make him sick. He was talking about getting seasick. Okay, nothing on this coin. Let's take a look at the other one. Second coin pulled out for Eric Beyer. Nothing on the obverse. Let me take a look at the reverse again. Oh. We got something going on this one. That is die wear. Unfortunately. Keep taking a look around here. Yeah, that was die wear that we were seeing when I first plopped the coin down. All that stuff right there. That's not hub doubling, that's die wear. Okay. So that's both very buyer's coins. Coin that's holder number 23. Now serving. Number 24. That is not echoing. Blue Sandy. Blue Sandy gets holder number 24. That was a little bit of a trail. The difference between die wear and a die trail. Die trail happens when they're actually polishing the die. They polish it with a rotary brush that has bristles. And those bristles tend to collect in the corners of the crevasses on the die, which are the areas that are actually pointed out on the coin. And when those collect like they do, they tend to come out and create like trenches on the die. And those trenches, let me get one. Hang on. Here, this is one. Let's see, was this on the reverse? Let me get one out. This is a 1996 D Lincoln Cent with die trails. So let's find them first. Okay, there they are. Coming up off the E pluribus unum there. The lighting isn't very good for die trails. It would have to be a shallower lighting. But you can see them coming off the upper corners of the word and those are actually caused by die polishing. So as they're polishing the dies with a rotary brush, it has little bristles. Those bristles collect inside the cavities of letters on the die, and when they jump out, they pull a trail. It's kind of like pulling taffy, and so that's what happens, and that is very different from die flow or die wear, because die wear always goes out like a pancake, out toward the edge. Hello, CVS. So let's see if I can get a better look at this, turning it in different directions. Not really. This isn't a very good one. It's not easy to see. So we'll go back to our coin. That's a 1996 D. Go back to our 1963 cent. And let's see what we see here. That was the best I could do with a really quick example. I guess Paul jumped off, fell asleep, logged out, something. I haven't heard from him in a little while. I hope he's okay. Take a look at the other side here. See what we see. Paul's here. There he is. In a WDDO, WDDR, or WRPM, the W stands for Wexler. It does. John Wexler has been an attributor for somewhere going on about 40 years now. And he's written a number of books on the subject. He's got a website. He is the person who basically got me started in all of this back in the mid-80s. Oh, you did reply. I didn't see it. Next coin. Take a look at the date first. Got nothing going on right there. Let's take a look at the eye area. Got nothing in there. Plenty of nice little die scratches, though. And looking at and around the motto and on Liberty, I see nothing specific there. And next coin, or next, I'm the reverse, I'm sorry. The next side. And nothing there. So we've got Blue Sandy's 2 coins here. You get those in the holder and move on to the next holder. How hard is it to find a 1943D steel RPM 13 FS502? Quite hard. They're actually not easy to come by. Quite scarce. Next one's going to go to Paul Hampton. Paul Hampton, your coins are coming up next year. A painted 1944 penny. That sounds like my luck. That's generally how they work out for me. Let's take a good look at this one. This is Paul Hampton's first coin. And we've got no double die lid on this one. And keep looking. Take a look at the reverse now. You found a 43D 1mm17. Very nice. Yeah, none of those RPMs are easy to find. They're all difficult. There's a nice die scratch right next to the T there. Wish it would account for something, but it doesn't. There's Paul Hampton's first coin. Let me get his second coin out and see what we got on his second coin. Earlier dice date, so let's hope for something good. No eye. Got nothing on that side. Let me flip it over and take a look at the other side. We are halfway through this coin hunt for now. I decided to go to my scope where I could see everything a little bit better. It's taking a little bit more time. Just kind of relaxing, looking through coins. This one is a minor double die reverse. Very minor though. Not something I could actually list, but it is a minor double die reverse. Let me show you the notching that I can find on this one. First of all, see the bottom point of the N on the left side of the N, which would be on the right side of your screen because it's upside down. That is supposed to be very sharp, and it's not. Because it's not sharp, I can tell that there's probably a notch in there. See it right there? There's a notch. This is a minor double die reverse. Let's see what I can do about getting better lighting. A little bit better lighting on this. Okay, we'll do it like that. And then I will move very slowly so as to not lose my focus on where I am. You can see a little bit of a notch on the other side of the N. Okay, so now let me move back to where I had been before and refocus. Now, can you still see that notch on the left side of the N? It's just barely there, but you can see it. And then the E is a little less sharp than it should be on the bottom. It looks a little more rounded off than it should. And that's because there's just a little bit of doubling going on there. This N usually shows when there's notching, and it does. It shows just a tiny bit of notching. Right there. You see just the very, very slightest amount of a notch right there on the corner of the N. These are the things that you're looking for when you get into double dies and finding double dies and repunchment marks. You're looking for the minutia. The thing is, though, you get to a point where they're actually too minor to really bother with, and this is one of those. It's just too minor. Nothing there that we can really count for much of anything. But I can show you the rest of the doubling if there is any. Yep, there is doubling on the T. It's very minor, but it's there. Look at it like this. Let me zoom in on it and focus. Just the ever so smallest amount of notching right there on the corner of the T. It is very minor. Not pretty minor, it's very minor. I appreciate it, Spike Ted Die Crack. And let's see. Let me take a look at the initials and see if we can see anything on the initials on this coin. I doubt we will, but I'm going to try anyway. See if there's any doubling on the initials. We're going to have to go in real tight. Yep, you can see it. Right there at the top of the F. Yep, you can see it on the F and the G. Just a little bit, though. It's not really enough to make a difference, but it's there. So we've got just a little bit of a double die there. It's an extremely minor one, but it is there. Because my lighting and everything is manual, I have to adjust between. Okay, so there's that. And this is the second of 2 coins for Paul Hampton at the moment. The upper part of this design is not doubled at all. All the doubling is toward the bottom. I'm not really going to worry too much about die markers on this, but we'll go over to the obverse and see if there's anything real obvious. Okay, we've got a couple of pretty big die scratches running north and south through the 6-3 of the date. So we can remember that for markers here, but it's not going to make a whole lot of difference, and that's simply because we're just not going to deal with something as minor as the RPM or the double die that we see on this particular one. So that's Paul Hampton's 2 coins. Do have a little bit of a really minor double die reverse on this, but not enough to list it. So coin number 23, coin number 26. 26. Holder number 26 is for John L. again. I'll pull his 2 coins out. And let's see what we have. We have a coin that's slightly out of focus. I pull this into better focus so we can see better. No doubling on the I. Let me tilt this around this way so I can see trust. No doubling in trust. Nothing in the Yen God part, nothing on Liberty. Got a few hits right there on the middle of the coat. Let me flip it over and take a look at the other side. It's like an ant in a herd of elephants. That's pretty much right. Oops. There we go. Sometimes I have just a little bit of trouble driving my fingers. You see on this particular coin how much sharper the bottom of the C and the E are, and how much sharper those corners are? It was just that lack of sharpness that I noticed that told me there's notching there. They're definitely notching there. And I looked at it much closer. I couldn't see it at first, but when I looked at it closer, I definitely knew that there was notching there. Hit that right on the nose. There's John L's first coin. Got nothing there. John L's second coin. Let's take a look and see. I'm sitting a distance away from my actual microscope, so if it takes me just a minute to get something centered so that we can see it, I apologize, but that's just how it happens to work. And let's see what we got here. Nothing on the obverse of that one. Let's take a look at the reverse and see what came of the reverse. Nice little die dot right there next to the O. Nothing going on here. We have ourselves another normal coin. Unfortunately so. When does minor become too minor? Is that basically the question? Well, minor becomes too minor when you really have to squint to look at it. And there's nearly no way that you can actually photograph it with any distinct appearance. The other thing is, when minor becomes too minor, you're looking at something in early dye state that is something that's going to show up, but then by the time you get to late dye state, it's going to completely disappear. It's probably not going to be really worth messing with, because you want something that people are actually going to be able to see. Okay, Joe McBride comes up next. Joe McBride gets holder number 27. Holder number 27 for Joe McBride. And we've got nothing on the date. Nothing on the eye. Okay, nothing on trust. Stop that. The light's rocking on me. Okay, nothing in Liberty. Let's flip it over and take a look at the other side. There have been a lot of expert panel discussions over the years as to what is too minor to bother and what isn't. And this is another one of the real minor double dyes. I can just see it. I just know it's there. See how there's a lack of sharpness to the fall off at the bottom of the E and the bottom of the C. Now, if I were to find a letter that you're actually going to be able to see a notch on, I could zoom in and you'd be able to see very, very, very slight notches. There's one on the left side of the N. So this is another one of that same die that we got for Paul Hampton. Well, if I zoom in, sorry folks, if I zoom in and focus it down, you can see that notch right there on the very corner, on the inside corner at the bottom of the left side of the N. Now you can see that notch. If I move over to the other end, you should be able to see notch on that. Yeah, it's been a little bit obliterated. there is a notch on the corner of the T, and your FG is actually slightly doubled. There's that mark coming straight out of the G, so it tells me it's the same die, because the other one had that too. Let me zoom in on this real quick so we can take a better look at it. See how the top of the F is thicker than it should be? Let me get back to it here. There we go. You can actually see two separate sticks to the top of the F now. Alright, so I'm going to zoom back out on this. Get focused back in the right way here. So nothing that we're going to list on the reverse of this one. It does have a very slight double die, but it's not anything to list. Alright, so here is his next coin. This is Joe McBride's second coin here. I don't know why I keep having to refocus. Let me zoom out some more. It's just easier to keep focus when you're zoomed out some. Zooming in too far doesn't do you any good. Okay, so here's one of the doubled eyelids right there. Got doubling on the eyelid. So let me zoom in so we can take a good look at it. There's your doubled eyelid. You've got a little bulb of metal sticking up above the surface of the bridge of the nose, just underneath the eyelid, and it's parallel with the eyelid. So there's that. Very nice. Doubled eyelid for Joe McBride. Let's take a look around the rest of the obverse of the coin. I don't think there's any other doubling on this die. If I had it in focus, it'd be a lot easier. The other thing is that these microscopes are really good, but they tend to focus in very, very thin layers. So if you have a coin that has a lot of relief, it's difficult to get the field focus plus the top of the relief, unless you're zoomed out quite a bit. But this one is one of our little minor doubled eyelids. And there's our die scratches on the reverse to prove it. So we could almost pretty much just use the reverse to find this one. I want to find more of those tripled eyelids though. That would be really cool. Alright, so this is Joe McBride's second coin, and Joe McBride did get a minor doubled eyelid. I'm going to put that one in the holder upside down so I can be sure to know which coin it was. There's something on. I'll put him in a special pile and move on to number 28. Will be Kerry Walton. Kerry Walton will get these two coins, the first one being this one right here. Let's see what we have. That's why the outer edge of this coin is out of focus, because they were pretty deep relief coins. So the inside area right in here, that's nicely focused, but if you look out to the L, it's a little bit blurry. And that is because this coin has a dish relief. And so the part that's the deepest in the dish is what I have focused. The part that's the shallower part of the dish around the edge of the design is the part that I do not currently have focused, but need to. And voila, everything comes into focus. Okay, nothing on the reverse here. And let's take a look at Kerry's next coin. This will be the obverse of Kerry's next coin. And once again, I've pulled it out of focus for the obverse. Different height of design. from the reverse to the obverse, which is why I'm not keeping focus between the two. But I can still tell, even without full focus, that this is a normal coin on the obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. A very late die state. And nothing doubled there. And Carrie Walton now has her 2 coins for holder number 28. Both normal coins. Now for number 29. That'll go to Adam Chambers again. Adam Chambers' first coin will be this one right here. Nothing on the obverse on this one. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. Not seeing anything on the reverse. So that's his first and now second coin for this holder. And I'm getting nothing so far. Always watching for that tripled eyelid. Seems to be a very scarce one in this particular roll, or in this particular bag. Now looking at the reverse to see what we can come up with, if anything. Nothing there. Another slight bummer. 2 normal coins for Adam Chambers. And here we go on to holder number 30. Holder number 30 will go to Techstar. So I grab 2 coins out for Techstar here real quick. Paul Hampton's having his own school here. I'm thinking, I like that a lot. When people teach people, everybody learns. Darn good thing. Okay. Nothing on the obverse there. Let's take a look for the reverse real quick. Nothing on that coin. Let's take a look for the other one. See what we can find. Later die state, slightly later die state. No doubled eyelid. Nothing in trust. And nothing on Liberty. Flip it over and take a look at the other side. This is another one of those that has that die wear that pulls out toward the edge. It's a ghost doubling. It's very common, as you know, on a lot of the 1953 through 1955 cents. That's actually what makes what they call the poor man's double. It's actually just die wear. They call it a braided die doubling, which is exactly what this is. A braided die doubling being that the die has worn out to a point where the chipping molecules of steel from the die outside the edges of the letters has become so strong it actually appears to be a second set of letters. Okay, now Techstar has his 2 for this particular holder. That's holder number 30. Holder number 30, I'm sorry. Holder number 30. Now moving on to 31. 31 goes to Mr. Patat, Steve Patat. First coin for Steve Patat is this one right here. Nothing on the eye. See nothing on trust. Nothing on liberty. Let me take a look at the other side then. Where am I? There we go. I've seen this die before. It doesn't have anything on it. I can tell by that curved die scratch coming straight up out of the left side of the building. No hub doubling on this side. You never know when you're going to catch up to an error, though. We always look at the obverse and reverse of both coins. All the time. Because you never know when you're going to run into a full brockage on the reverse of a coin. And well, you'd never know it if you're not looking at both sides. Because full brockage, one side's going to be completely normal. The other side's going to be really messed up. Okay. There's the obverse on that one. It was normal. And take a look at the reverse. Pretty normal going on there too. All right. So that's 2 coins for Mr. Patat. I'm not interrupting your conversation, folks. I'm just letting you guys have that conversation. I'm good with that. If you guys need anything from me, just let me know. Holder number 32 goes to Yomangal. There's his 2 coins. Pull up the first one under the scope and see what we end up with. Oh, this one's going to be a doubled eyelid. I can tell because we have the 2 slashes under the 9. And right there is the eyelid. It's got a lamination, or no, it's actually a bump on the coin right next to it. But you can see the doubled eyelid there. And there will likely be no doubling on the reverse because, well, those die pairs are generally minted together. And we know that there was no doubling on the reverse of the other doubled eyelid, so that probably means there's no doubling on the reverse of this doubled eyelid. But we can see that we indeed do have the die scratches that we were looking for on the others. Definitely still there. And we're done with that coin. Take a look at the next coin for Yoman. We do have a doubled eyelid for him. Next coin will be this one. And this one has nothing on it. It is a later dice date coin. It doesn't have any doubling on it at all on the obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. And this is the one that has the ghost doubling on states. You can see that up there as I rock my light and make you seasick. All right, coming through here. Got nothing on the reverse of this one. So Yoman got his 2 coins here. One of them the doubled eyelid, which I will flip over backwards to be sure I know which coin is the oddball out of the bunch. And put that holder aside. Now, holder number 33 is Jeff Dunn. Jeff Dunn will get this coin. What do we have here? It's not the typical doubled eyelid. Nothing around the eye. Nothing on trust. And nothing on liberty. I might flip it over and take a look at the other side. Nice sharp looking reverse, but I don't think there's going to be any doubling here. Or maybe it is the minor one. Nope. Not even a minor double die. Where is it? No. Sometimes hard to see at this magnification. I have to move in a little bit more, but it wouldn't make any difference anyway because if I have to move in to look at it, it's probably not going to be worth listing. When I have to bring this microscope all the way to its knees to look at a double die and tell that it's a double die, my camera is not going to pick it up well enough to even publish it. That's when it's too minor to list. Next one goes to Hawkeye. Well, hello, Javier. And let's see what Hawkeye gets. First coin here. Let me sow the seeds of knowledge just a little more here by focusing a little better on the coin so we can actually see it. Zoom in just a little bit. Got nothing there. Nothing on this side as it appears. No. Other side? What do we have on the other side? See, we're moving a little bit faster now that I'm getting used to the equipment. You guys are getting used to it. And we're all looking for the same things, so it makes it kind of easy. Nothing going on here. Next coin. Next coin for Hawkeye. Nothing there. 3 what, Steve? Doubled eyelids? 3 hours that the show took? This is one of our minor double dies. Minor, minor, minor. It also shows up pretty well. And we'll zoom in again and take a look at the notching, just to give you guys a good idea. So you can see it and keep it focused in. Right there. See the notching at the corner of the L, or corner of the N. Now, I'm going to keep this focused like this. See how the E? See those little bits of the E, the corner of the E, how they're not a point. They're more like they're chiseled off. That's your notching. Notching right there. You got notching on the bottom of the E. You can just see on the C where you're extra thick at the bottom. And the E of cent, or 1, I'm sorry, the E of 1. Not so easy to see here. But you can see it on that side of the E. It's kind of like where the bottom and the serif point are supposed to come down to a point. You're supposed to have an exact point there. And you've got this space. Instead of a point, you've got a little space. And what that is it's the 2 corners of the 2 letters right next to one another. But they're not perfectly overlapping. There's another notch for you. Right there at the bottom of the end. Very, very slight double die. Very minor double die. We're not going to list it, just showing it to you. Yeah, I get used to what direction to turn everything on my scope. Now see, you can see all that. I brought it in close so you could see it really easily. Now you can still see it. We're going to look at the next coin. When I show you the next coin, you'll notice I'll actually point out if the next coin indeed is just one of the normal coins. I'll point out the fact that those letters are actually very sharp on the corners, as they're supposed to be. Holder number 35 is for Farm Dog. I do one for Farm Dog here. There's Farm Dog's first coin. Coming under the scope right now, and it's not one of our known doubled eyelids. So what is it? Not a doubled eyelid. And got nothing going on here. And on the reverse, even though this is a late die state coin, you can still see that those corners, that corner of the E comes down to a fine point rather than having that space. And there's your difference. There's Farm Dog's first coin. Let's take a look at the second one, see if we come up with something on the second one. I'd love to see some good stuff come out of this. I want you guys to hit home runs. I don't see any yet, though. There's one of the doubled eyelids, so we should have the double slash below the 9. We do. We got that little double slash below the 9. Let me back out a little bit more. There we go. Keep this thing focused a little bit better. There we go. Now I got that double slash down below the 9, so we have the doubled eyelid. There's the doubled eyelid right there. And so this will be a doubled eyelid for Farm Dog. And take a look on around. Nothing else going on there. Let's take a look at the other side and see what happened with the other side of the coin. This one's got a little machine doubling. You can see it on the bottom of the A and the M. That's machine doubling going on there. Goes on over to the A, T, E, S. That's all machine doubling. Now the difference here between your machine doubling and a true double die is a true double die is going to have your notching at the corners, whereas this, I'm going to zoom in and take a really close look at it. You can see that it shares a corner. Basically the doubling stops before you get to the corner of the letter. See that? How your doubling just totally comes to a stop before you get to the corner of the letter. And that's because you've got a die pressing in on the edge of the letter, and it's not affecting the corners because the corners are a slightly different angle. See on the S right there? See how it looks like you just took a little scoop out of the side of the S? Let me zoom in, get you a good photo here. There we go. That S just has a little dent in the side of it. It's not really doubled as you would expect a doubled die to be doubled. See how the F right there at the top of the F, how your doubling actually comes to an end before you get to the corner? So there's your machine doubling. This is machine doubling versus a double die. This is not a double die. See how the doubling ends right before you get to up to the point of the T? You got machine doubling pretty much going all the way around this coin. No double die here. This is all machine doubling. Let's keep looking and see how much more machine doubling we have. We got right there at the edge of the building, at the left side of the building, and it's going to flatten out when you get to the bottom half of the design, but it is still machine doubling. You can see that very easily that it's been smashed down. So interesting machine doubling, however, has no value. So Farm Dog did get a doubled eyelid of his first coin. Second coin got nothing. But we are still going to put this aside. We're going to get that doubled eyelid listed, and he will get his coin with a new holder. Sissy Atwell's next. Sissy Atwell, what does Sissy Atwell get? Well, here's a later die state coin, so it doesn't have either one of our doubled eyelids that we're looking for. Keep cranking it around, take a look. Nothing going on there. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. This has got the very late die state reverse. We've seen this die pair a number of times. This one does not have any hub doubling. So there's that one. Now Sissy's second coin. Let's take a look here at the second coin and see what happened. Let me figure out where it is. Oh, here we go. Okay, this one is not our typical doubled eyelid. It's not a doubled eyelid at all. Well, let's keep taking a look around, see what else we end up with here. Nothing on the obverse. So we end up with on the reverse. Got nothing on the reverse either. Unfortunately, we end up with two normal coins again. You need 63 proofs. I'll look for some 63 proof rolls. I'll see what I can find. Number 37, Paul Hampton again. Paul Hampton will go with holder number 37. And that is going to contain this coin. A nice little sharp looking coin. No doubling on the eyelid though. Nothing on Liberty. Flip it over and take a look at the other side and see what happened there. Oh, this is a nothing. I've seen that marker before. That die scratch coming up out of the left side of the roof. Roof, whatever you want to call it. Whatever the word is. In your part of the country, it's either a roof or a rough. You guys want me to get rolls of proofs and look through them? I could do that. Especially this scope. It'll show up real nicely. The thing about proofs, though, is if I run into minor stuff, man, there's a lot of minor double dies that I don't have attributed, I don't have listed anywhere. And your chances of getting proof coins back this year from a roll of proofs, yeah, not highly good. But there are a lot of double dies in the proofs. We've done 64 rolls before. We've actually done 63 rolls as well. Maybe I need to find a couple of 62 rolls. 62 rolls have a lot of double dies. You'll find a lot of double dies in 62 proofs. And yes, Randy, you can get proof coins in rolls from dealers who have pulled proof sets apart and tubed the rolls. However, you are correct in the thought that the Mint did not sell and does not sell rolls of proofs. Never did, never will, as far as I know. Holder number 38 now. 38 now goes to Jim Fletcher. I could do 62 proofs. Let's see what I can do about finding a roll of those. Man, it's kind of a spotty coin. Later die state, it doesn't have our doubled eyelids that we've been looking for. Nothing else on the obverse. Let me flip it over to the reverse and see if there's anything on the reverse of this one. Later die state reverse as well. Seen this die before. It's got a die dot crack something inside the N of 1. I've seen this before. And this one doesn't have any hub doubling, unfortunately. So we'll move on to the next coin. The next coin for Jim Fletcher is this one right here. Let's see what we've got on this one. Nope, nope, nope. I kind of figured out what one of my problems was with trying to use this particular microscope with this software is that, first of all, you can't use it as a camera input, so I have to actually do a display input. So I've got my monitor showing what you see. In fact, I could probably zoom in on this just a little bit, like that. And you can't use the camera itself directly to the OBS. And the second thing is that it tends to be a little persnickety about jumping around a lot. But it did a lot worse with jumping around when I had it higher resolution. This is the lowest, believe it or not, this is the lowest resolution that you can use with this microscope. Got higher resolution, but it takes too long to load each individual frame. So because it takes longer to load each individual frame, it turns into a, well, basically a shit show. Hard to see anything. All right, Bulldog comes up next. Let's see what we have for Bulldog. 61 might be okay, but 62 is actually your big year for proof double dies on the obverse. 63 and 64 do really well on the reverse. It's a nice earlier dice date, but we're not coming out with anything doubled here. Not on this particular coin. Flip it over to the reverse and see if we come up with anything on the reverse. We haven't found much on the reverse yet, except for that one double die that I'm not going to list because it's just doesn't have enough character. Okay, so this one is a normal coin on the reverse. Or is it? Yeah. Normally enough. I think the designer's initials have a very, very slight amount of doubling on them. But once again, not something I can do much about because it's just so difficult to see. Yeah. You can see on the upright of the F and the upright of the G, you can see just a little tiny bit of doubling. Just a little bit. There's a dark line running right through the center of the letters on the vertical bars. And that right there is a slight convexity or a slight sunken area on the surface, which shows me a separation. A separation line is what we call that. Just not enough. Just not enough. Like it, but not enough to list it. Okay, there's that first coin for Bulldog. Let's take a look at the second one, see what we come up with on the second one. There's your two slashes down below the 9, so that means that you're going to end up with a doubled eyelid on this one. And maybe not. Maybe those slashes are on more than one die. So this one is not a doubled eyelid. Get this better focused. There we go. A little better focus, and I guess our slashes below the 9 are not the right ones. Because this is not the same die, and it is not a doubled eyelid. Liberty appears to be completely normal. And as you get to the other side, we have what appears to be another normal reverse. The FG is normal on this one, normal width. And we unfortunately have a normal coin here for Bulldog. So Bulldog's, both of his coins in this particular holder, number 39, came out to be normal. And let's see, get this in here real quick. Okay, got him in the holder. Moving on to holder number 40. Number 40, Doug Reese. Doug Reese will get this coin first. Oh, there's our double eyelid. Did I miss? Oh, there's my slashes. There's my 9 slashes right there. Okay. That last one was a different die. This one's got a really long slash under the 9. Because it is our doubled eyelid. Our little doubled eyelid. Gotta love it, right? Nice when we find little things. Interesting little things. Heck, what'd you pay? 75 cents a coin? I think it's worth that. Got nothing else on this one. Of course, you've got your die scratches on the reverse that we look for this particular die. So now let's take a look at his other coin and see what we come up with Doug's other coin. Very clean obverse. Very clean, very few die scratches. And this is not the tripled eyelid. I'm really still looking to replicate that tripled eyelid. I'd love to find another one of those. Got nothing on that side. What's going on? Is Randy complaining because he's not getting coins drawn? Is that what's going on? Randy, are you whining? You gotta stop whining, Randy. Randy wouldn't whine. Randy's a big boy. This one is our very minor double die reverse. I can already tell because the fall off between the level and the bevel of the UNI is a little bit thicker than it should be. See how the E, when you look up at the E, see how sharp that light line is? And see how much whiter it gets as you go around to the U? And so when I go around to the rest of the design, the O, it gets a little thicker. The N, you have slight, very, very slight. There you go, splits. And the E, you have your little landing there that it's not sharp. It's just not a sharp corner. And so this is one of our real minor double dies. You can see it on the serif of the N there now. He missed his coins. Well, he does know, or he should know, that we're going to be doing a second reveal with this bag because I cannot do all 200 coins in one night. 100 is as much as I got around. We're going to end up doing the rest tomorrow afternoon sometime. I'm going to have to get us scheduled up for tomorrow afternoon. So Doug Reese did get 2 die varieties out of this particular pull. But one of them is the really minor double die reverse, and the other one is the doubled eyelid, which I'm going to flip upside down in the holder so I'll know which one was which. And go on to 41. 41 is Randy. I don't make this stuff up. Look, right here. Randy. Randy. R-A-N-D-E-H. I pulled it. That's number 41. Holder number 41 is for Randy. And here's his first coin in this holder. We'll get that second set of slashes. This isn't the right set of slashes, so it's not the doubled eyelid. Not the doubled eyelid. And it's also not a double die reverse because we only have one double die reverse coming out of this bag so far. And it doesn't belong to this obverse. Go, Randy, go, right? So far we haven't come up with anything, but maybe the next coin will be good. And so for the reverse, we have what basically constitutes a very normal 1963 Lincoln cent. flip around this real quick and take a look at the design elements to be sure that we haven't come up with some sort of an error that we hadn't seen before, like a dropped letter or something like that. There's any number of things that can happen that just suddenly show up. Here's his second coin. Let's see if his second coin came up with anything better. And bum bum bum. Well, it's not going to be on the obverse, I don't think. Well, nothing so far on the obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse. I think we may have our minor double die reverse here that he can take a better look at later. I think. Nope, this isn't one of them. See here now, the UNI. See how sharp they are? How sharp the corners are? Not a double die. Just not there. You see how everything is real sharp going all the way around? So unfortunately, both of Randy's coins in this holder are normal. Win some, lose some, right, Randy? You saw the booger? Was there a booger on that coin? I didn't even notice. Alright, 2 coins out of the bag for Farm Dog. Farm Dog goes next. Now, if you don't get your coins today, if you don't get all of them today, then we've got another day of this. We're going to be going through another reveal tomorrow. It's going to be the same size as this one, but we should be going a little bit faster. I try to get every reveal done within an hour. It's really kind of hard to do when you got 100 coins to look through. Boy, if I could reveal as fast as I auction, right? That was a joke. I don't auction quickly either. I'm learning how to talk faster, though. You guys are teaching me that. It's my impatience with myself when I'm broadcasting. Broadcasting coin excellence from the state of North Carolina. North Carolina is chilly this evening. Looking for a low temperature of 46 degrees for tomorrow morning. That's kind of chilly considering our normal low for this time of year is 60 degrees. But either way, I still have the window open because it's nice and toasty in here. All right, nothing there. Let's take a look at the other side. And on this side, we end up with the very late die state reverse that has the ghost doubling above the TAT of states and nothing else. Unfortunately, we got a wah-wah. That was for Farm Dog. That's Farm Dog's 2 coins. We've got 7 holders left. 14 coins remain. 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Hello, Ida. Good gosh, 104 degrees. Where do you live, Las Vegas? Somewhere out in the Pahrump Desert? Or maybe Southern California. Hey, Randy goes again. What do you know? Randy! Got 2 coins out for you, buddy. And here's the first one. This one is not going to have anything on it because I've already, this little crisscross of very minor die scratches around the 1-9. I recognize that from other coins I've already pulled out of this bag, which tells me instantly that there's not a whole lot going on there. See what the reverse looks like. And this particular reverse is going to be a normal reverse because our little double die is not there. And we have been having little tiny double dies on the reverse that are not listable, but they are really small, but they are noticeable. How about that? Here's Randy's second coin for this particular holder. Let's take a look and see what we end up with. Hey, look, there's our deep slashes right there below the 9. So that's going to tell us that's going to be a doubled eyelid. And poof, there it is. Doubled eyelid. So Randy gets an eyelid. I just made his day. That's right. Not easy to make people's day, but you can if you give them a penny with a double eyelid. Tell you what, not at all picky and very easy to please. And there's our die scratches that we have been looking for on the reverse of our doubled eyelids. And Randy gets a doubled eyelid. So I'm going to put the normal coin in there correctly and then put the doubled eyelid in there upside down so I know which one it is, because it has to come back out of this holder and go into another holder where I'm actually going to annotate that Randy received a doubled eyelid. Here's Tim Morell's first pull out of this bag, I do believe. Tim Morell's first pull. We've got, it looks like an earlier dice date. I don't recognize right off the bat. I'm sure I've pulled one of these before. But it is an earlier dice date. You can see how sharp everything is. And nothing on that side. So let's take a look at the other side and see if there's anything on the other side. I think this might be our minor double die reverse. Is it? Yes, I do believe it is. Yep, our very minor double die reverse. No. Wait a minute. This might not be it. Yeah, it is. This is it. Very minor double die reverse. Very minor. As in, I say, it's very minor, and you say, how minor is it? And you say, oh, it's this minor. See it right there on the corner of the T? The bottom corner of the T, there's a teensy tiny notch there. That's how minor. With just saying his name, I think you're right. Yes, when you put it that way, it does sound a little odd, but that's what we are. We are the odd fellows. Not being odd fellows, but we are odd fellows. And ladies. Ladies and germs. Let's see. Get this thing back in focus just a little bit here. And no doubled eyelid do I see. Let's keep going around the obverse of this early mid-dice date coin. And got nothing here. So let's take a look at the reverse and see what we get out of the reverse on this one. And again, we have a normal reverse on this. No doubling do I see. And Tim Morell comes out with a very minor double die reverse and a non-double die coin. So there's that for us. Now for holder number 45, Steel Horses. I know you've been waiting forever. So I had to get Randy out of the way first, right? Okay. So here's for Steel Horses. We do have, it's not the doubled eyelid. This is the nothing one. No doubled eyelid do I see. Keep moving around and round and see. And we have nothing. Great. So let's take a look at the other side. See what we come out with on the other side. So I'm pretty much resorting to the idea that we do have one minor double die reverse out of this bag, but we don't have any others. I haven't found any others. Double die reverses are actually not very uncommon for 1963 Lincolns. So the doubled eyelids, we have the doubled eyelid and we have the tripled eyelid, are the two things that we're really batting for here, trying to find. I still haven't found a second example of the tripled eyelid. Hello, John Argent. So we've only found one coin so far with the tripled eyelid. But the doubled eyelid, we found probably close to half a dozen of them so far. Nothing there. Let's flip it over and take a look at the other side of the coin. See what happened on the other side of the coin. We do have the... Let's see, what is this one? Let me get my finger out of the way. Yeah, that is the very late die state that shows artifact doubling on the outside edge of the TAT estates. So we've seen this reverse before. And here it is again. Flash you right through it. So we can move on to the next coin because this one is going to be a normal coin. Steel Horses ends up with two. Is it two normal coins? Yeah, two normal coins out of this. Or did he? I think I remember seeing a doubled eyelid recently, but that's not that. So two normal coins came out of this for Steel Horses. Yeah, I want to find some more of those tripled eyelids. That was very interesting. We'll have to go back and look at it again. All right, who's next? Carrie Walton is next. That's who got the tripled eyelid. So if we find another tripled eyelid here, we know that just belongs to her, and that's just it. It is what it is, right? Here's Carrie Walton's first coin in this holder. Slightly later die state. Let's see what we get. No doubled eyelid. Going around taking a look at the rest of the obverse, we run into absolutely nothing. Silver Nitrate. Oh, hey, how's Silver Nitrate? How you doing, buddy? I haven't seen you in a while. Finally got moved in. I'm finally here. Okay, we got nothing on the reverse of this one. It's a very late die state. A little die crack there on the end of one. And a little pit there from a struck through. But nothing that really provides us a whole lot of excitement, so we're going to move on to Carrie's second coin here. And Carrie's second coin will be this right here. That is not doubling on the outside of the 3. That is actually just a little contact mark. A little bit of a hit on the outside of the 3. Take a look on around the remainder of the coin, and we are not going to find anything on the obverse, unfortunately. So let's take a look at the reverse and see what we can find on the reverse. Maybe perhaps there is something there. Who knows? This is once again our very late die state reverse that shows a lot of artifact doubling on the outside edge of states. And so we take a look around and we see if there is anything major for an error on the reverse. You know, we could come up with something, you never know. But we indeed come up with absolutely nothing, so we have two normal coins for Carrie Walton in this particular holder. That was smooth. That went fast. Very explanatory and very quick, because we're running up on 2 hours on this broadcast. Blue Sandy is next. Blue Sandy gets a holder next, and I'm going to pull out 2 coins from the bag, and let's see what happens. The 2 coins that Blue Sandy gets, I'm going to start with this one. Ooh, what is it? I'm all excited. Nothing on the eye. Nothing on the date. And nothing on the motto. And nothing on Liberty. So I have to flip it over and take a look at the other side and see if anything happened over there. There's once again another one of the very late die state reverses. There's not a double die, that's just die aware. We have seen a few of these now. Few too many. Okay, that's Blue Sandy's first coin. Let's take a look at the second coin for Blue Sandy here. Well, where am I? Right there. Boom. Oop, this one is, I think, is going to be a nothing, unfortunately. It's a nice, sharp-looking obverse, but there's no doubling. No doubling on this one. Yeah, those initials get really washed out when you're looking at late die state coins. This is the very minor double die reverse. So Carrie's going to get an example of this really minor double die reverse. You can see best in cent. Got a little struck through on the end, but you can see the very minor notching on the bottom of the letter. I'll leave it just like that, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit to let everybody see it. It's really minor, but it's there. There you go. You can see it on both sides of the N. That is a genuine double die. All right. The rest of the reverse. Gonna show us little to nothing, so we're going to move on. And that is the 2 coins for holder number 47, Blue Sandy. Now moving on to number 48. 48's going to go to Wade. I don't know if Wade even came here tonight. I've done 2 of his, so he's got 1 coming up tomorrow probably. Okay, and this one is going to turn out to be nothing, unfortunately, on the obverse. And on the reverse, yeah, this is our minor double die reverse again. Minor, quite contrary. All right. That's both sides of that coin. Let's move on to the next coin. See what we see there. Still not a double die lid. Nothing on the rest of the obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. And the reverse on this one is going to be a normal. That's it for that. That's holder number 48 for Wade. Holder number 49 comes up next. And number 49 is for Doug Reese. Doug Reese will get 2 coins. And I've got his 2 coins out. This is the first one. Late die state. A lot of spottiness. Unfortunately. Let's take a look at the other side. The other side is also late die state and quite spotty. Unfortunately. And that's that for that. His other coin, does it turn out to be a double die lid or no? Not a double die lid. Flip it over on the other side. And it's one of the very late die state reverses. Does not have any doubling. And that's going to bring us to the last holder for this evening. Last holder for this evening is going to be number 50, and it goes to Paul Hampton. So, Paul Hampton, you've had all yours now. Max of 3. You got your 3. And this is the first coin in this holder. And Looks pretty nice. Let's see. This is it. I think, I do believe this is the triple eyelid. Let's zoom in on this. This one's nice and bright, so it's going to be a lot easier to see than the other one. It had a spot in that area. Yeah, this is the triple eyelid, folks. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Remember that die scratch coming straight out of the nose? This is it for sure. You see them right there? You got one below the eye and one above the eye. So definitely a triple eyelid. We do definitely have a listable die here. Very nice. It's only the second coin I found in this entire bag so far. But we do have possibilities. Hope you guys join me tomorrow afternoon, where we're going to go through the remainder of the 200 coins, so the other 100 coins. See what we end up with in that group. See, now you can very clearly see both eyelids, both the upper and the lower. There wasn't anything else on this particular die, and it was paired with a normal reverse, so we'll just continue looking. Oh, what's that? Something else I hadn't noticed in the last go round. We need to zoom back in a little bit and take a closer look at this. See that little stump on the top of the L? That's actually doubling on the L. That's a second L underneath there. Now let's see if that continues. Sometimes it'll continue into the letters of In God, and this one does not. But you do have a little stump on the top of the L. You got to get it just in the right light. There it is. And so that's another part of our little doubling. So there's that, and then plus the tripled eyelid. 2 extra eyelids we have on this coin. That's the coolest part. I really like that part. Alright, so let me back out. We'll take a look at the other side. And see, there's a lot of north and south die scratches running through the building. I haven't seen that on any of the other coins we've looked at, so I'm pretty sure that this is a, I'm going to say, scarce die so far in our searches that we have only run into on one other coin. But this one for Paul Hampton is definitely going to be a nice one, doubled eyelid. And let's take a look at the second coin, last coin for the evening. This is going to be the last coin we're going to look at. And unfortunately, it's going to end on a sour note because this is a nothing coin. But, so we've got 2 tripled eyelids and about a dozen doubled eyelids come out of today's hunt, plus a bunch of people have ended up with a minor double die reverse that I just can't count for anything. And there it is. So Paul's going to get a nice tripled eyelid out of this and a regular coin. Put the tripled eyelid upside down in here. See that coin? If you look at that coin without, here, let's do it this way. We're done. You guys can go if you want to. But I'm going to show you what this coin looks like under the dyno. That's Paul's tripled eyelid right there. It's not a bad coin. Nice shiny coin. You see how ugly those look under that big microscope? So it's not as bad as you might think, right? But that's that. That's what it is. All right, well, I appreciate it, guys and gals. Come back tomorrow afternoon. I'm probably going to schedule this for around 3 or 4 in the afternoon because I do have, I do have the auction to run tomorrow evening. So I'm probably going to schedule it for 3 or 4 in the afternoon, maybe a little bit earlier. It's going to have to be kind of early so we can get through it, and I can still get to the auction a little bit later on. But here's what we've got. We've got some form of double die in 50, 43, 40, 35, 32, 27, 18, 10, 3, and number 6. Number 6 was the one. No, number 3 was the one that we found by the grace of Randy letting me know that we had run into a marker again. And you'll see that when you flip these over like this, I've got one facing down, one facing up. The one facing down is the die variety, and I'm going to pull those out and give them their own flip inserts. But that's what we've got. There's our die varieties, and here's all the normal coins we ended up with in this particular pull. We've got 50 holders with 2 coins. We're going to do the same thing tomorrow. I'm going to flip up everything and have it ready to go. I'll be here probably between, I'm going to say between 2 and 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So you guys have a great night, and I appreciate you showing up, and I am happy that we have something that works for us again. And you guys have a great night. I'll talk to you tomorrow.